So, when you look at some of the companies that we all deal with each and every day, I want to say Netflix didn't kill Blockbuster. Ridiculous late fees did. I mean, how many times did you take a DVD back to that video store and you paid a late fee? So I'm sure I brought it back on time. Okay, you just think of the inconvenience. Uber didn't kill the taxi business. Limited access and fare control did. Yeah, I'll tell you what's happened to me twice. Once we were overseas, I ordered a cab, an Uber for my wife and my son actually knew where he was going. The Uber driver took him. He said, "No, don't go right, go left." The Uber driver went right. He phoned me, "Dad, give the guy a poor rating." Within 10 minutes, I got a thing from Uber. "We saw you gave us a 1 rating. Is there any reason?" I said, "Yeah, the guy took the wrong. This is all online." And I said, "We apologize. It does seem an excessive fare for the distance you travel. Please accept a credit for $15 off your next ride." Now, if you were in a cab, who would you have called? You know, same thing happened to me the other day. I went from my place in Double Bay to Bondi, and I didn't even look, but when I got my thing, it cost me $35. When I came home, it was $12. I got onto Uber. They said, "Actually, we did publish the fare before you took the ride, but normally they say there's a surge. Normally they say there's a 2-time surge or whatever." They refunded me $15 or whatever it was, or the difference between the two. So if you've ever left a jacket, which my wife did, who would you phone? Who would you contact if you had a cab? And Apple didn't kill the music industry, okay? Being forced to buy full-length albums did. And even then, you know, when you talk about disruption, you know, Apple's just had to change their business model, because what worked 20 years ago, which was an unbelievable, it literally disrupted the entire music industry, has been disrupted again by Spotify. Amazon didn't kill other retailers. Poor customer service and experience did. I mean, I went to buy a book. I always like to support the local bookstores. Go in Double Bay, said, "We don't have the book, we'll get it for you in 6 weeks."
6 weeks.
I said, I thought, "No, I'm not going to wait 6 weeks." So I thought I'll go to Booktopia. Placed my order, said it'll be there in 3 days. This was on the weekend. Come back on Monday, said, "Sorry, we don't have the book in stock." Got into Amazon on the Monday, the book was on my desk on Thursday morning. Okay. Should have gone to them in the first place. So, you know, Airbnb isn't killing the hotel industry. Limited availability and pricing options are. But at the end of the day, technology by itself is not the disruptor. Not being customer-centric is the absolute biggest threat to any business. What I really believe is that customer service is absolutely critical to any business. And I always say it's so simple. I mean, customer service is simply accurate information, a prompt response, and never keeping a customer in the dark. We've all been customers at some point in time. And as I always say, bad news doesn't get better with time. You know, if you had a plumber who was supposed to come to your house at 5 o'clock today, and you go and tell someone, "I'm sorry, I've got to leave work early today because the plumber's coming at 5. You know, you leave work at 4, 5 o'clock the plumber's not there, at 6 o'clock they're not there, at 7 o'clock you're going to be mad as hell. Okay? You know, the next day you come to work smelling, and you've now got to phone the plumber and you'll say, I'll come a bit later on today. The plumber picked up the phone at lunchtime and said, "I'm really apologize, I can't make it today, but I'll be there first thing in the morning." You may not be ecstatic, but at least you know where you stand. And I really believe it's that simple. When you think about what customer service is, we're all customers. All of us are customers at some point in time. And I can tell you, unbelievable customer service, in my opinion, it always works. And I thought I'd give you a couple of my own personal examples. It doesn't matter how big or how small that organization is. In 2000, I built a house. Okay, I met a builder. His name is Ron Conti. And Ron's just a small one-man band, and I said to Ron, "How'd you work?" He says, "Dave, it's got to be fair for you, and it's got to be fair for me." I shook hands, and that was my contract. That was in 2000. Okay. In 2018, I'm building another house. Okay. Where did I go? I went back to Ron Conti. I just happened to grab a quick cup of coffee on the way in, and I bumped a guy by the name of Greg Shand. And I pulled out my slide presentation. Why? Because when Greg Shand built his house, he phoned me and said, "Dave, who would you recommend as a builder?" Greg Shand was one of about 6 or 7 houses that Ron built between 2000 and 2018. And I can honestly say he got those jobs because I said I would not hesitate to deal with anybody else. And the reason for that, between 2000 and 2013, when I eventually sold that house, if I ever had an issue, I knew I could pick up the phone and Ron would be there. And in fact, he'd never give me a bill. And I said, Ron, I'm embarrassed to call. You can't. I don't want to feel embarrassed. Yeah, I still don't have a contract. He said to me the other day, he says, Dave, we've got to sign the contract. My house is nearly finished. Okay, and that's because I trust him implicitly, and that's what I believe the value of customer service is. Yeah. I'm going to talk briefly about Chameleon Adventures. That's the guy at the front is me. That was, no, I'm joking. It just turned out to be, they didn't just want us to have a cycling trip just so we went cycling in Italy. They wanted us to have, so we had the most amazing, memorable cycling experience in Italy. And I would recommend it to anybody because they just did tiny, tiny little things that it wasn't just, you could just see that just, we arrived there. They said, we'll meet you in Milan at 2:30. At 2:25, these 3 buses arrived, everything ready. We all hired bicycles. We got there, bikes all lined up with our name tags on, all properly fit for our setup. Gave us a bag of goodies. They said, we'll have a support vehicle, but just in case, you need a snack, just, you would go down for a cup of coffee, you'd come back, and because we were going to do a hill, go climb. I thought the one that something's changed. They changed your gear so that you weren't in the downhill gear, you were in the uphill gear, so we didn't have to do that. Just tiny little things make an unbelievable difference. And it doesn't matter whether you are an Apple, a Ron Conti, a Chameleon Adventures, these little things make a massive difference. So, as I always say, culture isn't important, it's everything.